Oh, see how low it is? My tire hit the ground. Here we go again. So now it worked. And now we have the abubaca. So it's straight on and then fakie off. What's happening, bro chachis? Today we're at a place that they once referred to as a mall. This is now an abandoned form of business that is no longer used. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're still struggling with quarantine and the malls are empty. And today we're here to learn the easiest tricks in BMX. And I like to fondly refer to it as a curb session. We don't all have skate parks, dirt jumps, pools, vert ramps, or racetracks in our backyard, but chances are that you might have a curb. So this tutorial is meant for a lot of you guys that don't have anything but your simple curb. So I'm gonna present a few tricks that I think you guys can learn pretty quickly and have a lot of fun with. I used to session my curbs for hours, literally, pretending that they were quarter pipes or tall ledges or whatnot. So enough talking, let's give it a go. Now, the beauty of riding these curbs are that, as you can see, they're not very tall. You really can't get that badly hurt by falling off this curb. It's literally a 6 to 8 inch drop, but you could pretend to do a lot of cool tricks. The first part of the curb I want you guys to learn and become familiar with is where the actual driveway starts. As you can see here, there's a slight embankment. And one trick that you can learn is a double tire. Oh no, not the camera. So this part of the curb is usually either the driveway or the portion that's dedicated for the wheelchair access. And you can essentially get onto this part of the curb without even bunny hopping. So there are no prerequisites to this. If you can ride a bike somewhat in a straight line, well then now you can learn to pretend to do a double tire. And that's where we place both tires on an object and go down it in a straight path. You can do that on rails, ledges, and a lot of different kind of obstacles. But this is where we're gonna learn our practice. So we're gonna approach this driveway or this incline and literally pretend like there's fire pits on both sides. And if you fall, you're gonna die. Okay, not really. Essentially, you're trying to pretend that there's something terrible on either side and balance back and forth. Now, for this daring feat, all you really have to do is basically wiggle your knees, either to the left if you're falling to the right, or to the right if you're falling to the left. Does that make sense? It sounds counterintuitive, but it's not. So again, if you're leaning your body, you're gonna drop this way, you wanna swing your knees to the left. That'll throw your weight back over this way. And then you'll notice the bike start leaning that way to the left. So you're gonna want to try and throw them back to the right. So again, you don't have to go very fast. You don't even have to bunny hop. All you have to do is follow this straight line and use your knees to balance either left or right when according. As you get better and better, you can try and do the double tire for longer and try to pretend this curb is even narrower. Whoop, all right, pretty far. Once you're pretty comfortable with this, now you can start adding variations. You can maybe start trying a manual. And as you can see, I dropped that pretty quickly. Let's try that again. You can try in manual. Same concept, you're trying to stay within this small area. As you do more and more of these tire rides, you get more comfortable. So when the day comes that you're ready to take it to a ledge or a rail, your balance is something that's almost second nature. Cool, so we got that down. We got the tire rides on the curb. Some people argue that this is not a trick, but when you're inexperienced and you're learning, to me, just simply hopping up the curb, that counts as a trick. Boom, little bunny hop, up onto the curb. So for this next trick, you're definitely gonna wanna be able to already start forming the bunny hop pretty comfortably, at least 4 to 6 inches off the ground. Once you can do that, then it's a lot less scary to ride parallel to the curb and hop onto it sideways than it is to come perpendicular or in a straight line and try to really hop onto it, because your bike is longer that way. So it's harder for you to get up and onto that curb. But if you're going sideways, then all it really is lifting your front tire and then your back onto it. The first few times you can really just lift the front and then try and nudge the back onto it. And then once you're comfortable, then really just hop onto it. And I shall demonstrate. So the first technique, kind of just let your front tire rub on and then your back. So again, just throw your front tire on there and then your back. And you can get onto the curb. Your first few times you might topple over, no big deal. And the one thing you do want to avoid is just this, where you hit your back tire. I know how to shift my weight and make it so I don't flip over, but for you guys, if you're swinging all your weight, you could topple over. So you want to make sure you get your front tire on there comfortably and then get your back on there. And the other little secret to that is, if you're struggling to get it on, it's all in this motion. You're kind of pointing your toes down to the ground and then lifting your back Sorry, it's always hard to do that while explaining it, but you're essentially, when your feet are parallel, I'm left foot forward, you're gonna point your toes to the ground and then try and lift it forward. So when you're doing that, the pins in your pedals are actually helping you stay there and you're pulling the bike up. And that's what's getting you onto the curb. So, whoop. One more demo. 1, 2. Now you've mastered that technique. Now you can just fully bunny hop onto it. Do it all in one nice motion. And then once you get really good at that, now you can come back and come on the side of the curb and try and double tire again. Up. And when you really mastered it, now you can come parallel to the curb, hop on, double tire, 180 off. But that's when you're a little more advanced. That just comes with time. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you with all the different variations you can do, but as you can tell, you can get creative with this curb. I like to pretend to do all the different grinds, so you can come in, place your front tire on there, and do a feeble. You can place your back tire, and your front tire rolls on the ground. That's a Smith. You can do the imaginary double peg. You can even do an imaginary ice pick. If your curb is tall enough, you can actually lean over enough and really make it touch. So let me demonstrate that. As far as some of the other ghost grinds, we got the invisible double peg. Oh, that one really caught. So you come by this curb, I just lean into it, oh, and if it's not tall enough, you will topple over if you don't have your weight shifted opposite the actual curb. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lean to the right and lean my bike to the left, and that'll allow me a little more area. So here we go. Oh, pretty low, guys, pretty low. But you get the gist. Then you can come and do invisible grinds because the peg doesn't really touch, so you're doing an invisible feeble. Then you could do the invisible Smith. And to be honest, once you start doing that, and then you take it to a real ledge, you'll notice that the invisible Smith is actually harder than the real Smith. That's for another day. Now lastly, if your curb is a little taller than this one, you can actually session it like it's a quarter pipe. I have brakes, so I'm gonna do a trick called a fufanu, where I place the back tire on the edge and then jump off 180. And that's because this ledge in particular isn't tall enough to really do like an ice pick or a double peg. We can try, but I know for sure the fufanu and abubaca will work. So here we go. First, a fufanu. Oh, see how low it is? My tire hit the ground. Here we go again. So now it worked. So that is a fufanu, tire on the edge and 90 off, almost a 180. And now we have the abubaca. So it's straight on and then fakie off. See, if it were a little taller, you can come in 90 and go to double peg. But it's not really tall enough. We can pretend, and it's still fun. But if you find yourself a nice taller curb, you can really get down on this bad boy. If you are blessed with a taller curb, then you can kind of ride it like a quarter pipe, do a little 90 to double peg. And then you can maybe hop up the double tire, then hop back to double peg. And then I'm stuck here, so I'm gonna go to double tire tap and make it look dope. And I'm out. So this tutorial isn't the most serious one I've ever done, but it is to show you that you guys can get creative. If you have your bike and some ideas, even if they're borrowed or stolen, you can ride a curb and make it fun. And the cool thing about that is that if you ever get to ride really amazing spots, you have a lot of tricks for it, because if you learn it on really bad setups like a curb or something that's not very perfect, when you go to a skate park or a dream setup and you then get to ride it, you appreciate it more and your tricks are more dialed, because if you learn it on something hard, it's a lot easier on something that's built for that trick, or at least better suited for that trick. So that's it for today, guys. I just wanted to give you guys a little quick explanation of something you can do on a curb. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are different levels of BMX. Some of you guys are just discovering this channel, are making sure to subscribe, but your tricks aren't that advanced yet. So this is just to show you guys that you can learn at any age, any demographic, any sex, any orientation, whatever. You can learn as much as you want to put into it. And this curb is a prime example of that. Anyways, I tend to ramble a little bit, so I apologize for that. But if you got to the end of the video, please let me know. Please drop a little fist, some horns, some prayer hands, whatever makes you happy. Just let me know you're out there and that I'm doing a decent job. And that's it for me today. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Tune into tomorrow's video. I don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, but I'm sure it'll be fun. So stay home, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.